distribution of manuscript sources. For instance, the Vakyapadiya, we know that there were 3 or 4 sources which Subramanya here used, and then Aklujkar found a more complete manuscript in the Kerala Oriental Library. So
my father didn't go anywhere for the manuscript. I remember Subramanya Iyer was his friend. Subramanya Iyer was the one who kind of pressed him to do the Vakyapadiya. That was in 1958.
I'm asking about the Mahabhashya and the Karika. So they don't look for textual readings there. They don't find.
No. Whatever he did was, I remember writing to S.G. Joshi for a text, which Joshi sent on for my father, and then Subramanya Iyer gave. And not only that, he was so excited about it that my father will write it, then the manuscript will go directly to Lucknow to him, and he will read it, and then he will send it to the press. That's how, till he lived. But he couldn't see the whole publication. He was really something. Okay. So, in the first, second, third, fourth, the father, we have definitions, etc. First you get the, there is a thread. You get the nouns first, the samyas, then you get the avyayas, the nipatas, the karma pravachaniyas, and then you go to certain concepts in the detail, like you have the karaka. So, as far as the structure of the first adhyaya goes, you see much of a structure in the fourth quarter of the first adhyaya. In general, you can say that the first adhyaya is structured around or structured with the sangyas and the interpretations. I explained to you what they do briefly. More strongly, I would say that, as I said yesterday, if there were no formulation of sangyas and paribhashas, you will not be able to derive anything in Pāṇini unless you had sanya. Pachati. How many definitions are used in Pachati? Dhatu, to start with. Dhatu, right? So from Dhatu 131, you go to Dhatu 391, then you go to Vartamana. What is Vartamana?
Current action.
Current action. That is also defined. What? 6 to 6. 6, 6 in the evening to 6 in the... So next day, the kalpana of the day is different than the Western day. Our dates,
Sunrise, sunrise.
we don't have that. Our tithis are in a continuum of time, and they go in the cycle, and they don't need to be bifurcated or cut out or taken out from the flow of time. No, it's a continuum which identifies its entities by itself. So anyway, the paribhashas, they put a check, they regulate the meanings based on which you make the applications. The samyas indicate to you, this is the place where you have. If this was not the place, then once you define something like pach as a dhatu, you wouldn't be sent to dhatu, because this is the direction. you must go to the heading rules which is formed with the term like dhatu in itself. So you go there, if you have a pratipadika, swadhatu pratyaya pratipadikam, arpita samasa, then you don't have to worry. From 1 to 45 to, you go and take a leap and go to 411 Nyap Pratipadika. Why do you go there? Because the word Pratipadika, which has identified your input like Rama with the term Pratipadika. That term is contained. And this is what is happening everywhere. Without defining what you have on hand, yesterday doesn't move. Is the sense of direction is given by the samya. So, you get lasya, tikka, ji, and then after that, what else can you do? Go to ting, shit, sarvadhatukam. Unless you define that thing as a sarvadhatika, you cannot go and do reverse scanning. So, in other words, the direction is given by the Sangha. Otherwise, there is no reason. How will you go to Sarvadhatike Kartari Shapa?
So, distinction Sarvadhatukam, the positioning of that sutra, that is the definition of, right? In Yoshit Sarvadhatukam.
No, there is, see, Ashtadhyayi is a grammar, as I said, Vriddhiradhaisha to Aha. It's a large spread. There are 8 sections of it. Within that sections there are adhikaras. Why this structuring of rules in adhikaras and adhyayas and padas? As he says, Patanjali is very, in the American English they will say he is very cute. Cunningly cute. And he just, can't you see it? Nudge it. Not bang on your head. Nudge. Careful. See it. So, how does he do it? Why does he do it? Why has he the structure the way he has? That means Pāṇini must have had the interaction of rules. So interaction and application. Application is based on the result of interaction. So looking at the Ashtadhyayi itself, let's see how the Ashtadhyayi moves. You have the Sangyas Paribhashas, then there are large divisions of the Ashtadhyayi anticipated by application of rules which Pāṇini identifies. For example, when he reaches in the 3rd quarter, Anudattamita Atmane Padam, that 3rd pada is just, still he is defining the elements and broadening the tools of operation. In the 4th quarter, there is one kind of division he imposes on the listing of 8 adhyayas. Akadara Vika Sangya, that's local. Kadara Karmadhare, what is that? 2, 3, something. Kadara Karmadhare. So as far as up to Kadara Sansabranat Purvam. So prior to the utterance of the word Kadara, one term alone. So one name to each name bearer. Okay? That means this grammar in this section of rules would not permit an entity to have more than one name. One and one name only. By inference, you can also say that in the other sections of the Ashtadhyayi, what they call Samya Samavesha, inclusion of names or samyas, is a norm. Elsewhere, which I say elsewhere in the Ashtadhyayi, Samya Samavesha is a norm. So these are the terms you have to really have in your mind. They can do wonders for you in understanding the rules if you understand these terms. So, Eka Sangya, Samya Samavesha, Eka Sangya has its own adhikara, 1, 4, 2 something, till you hear the word Kadaraka, Madhara, Sutra. Okay? So, this is the restriction that you have imposed on the naming of entities in the Ashtadhyayi. In that particular section, whatever names are given, they must uniquely apply to a single name there. That is why it is called Eka Sanyadhikara. And then comes the headache. Vipratishedhe param karyam. Vipratishedhe param karyam. When there is a situation of vipratishedha, apply the one which is subsequent in order. Param, in the order of the Ashtadhyayi, that which comes next or later. So, Vipratishedha is what? Vipratishedha could be Paraspara Virodha. So how can you interpret Paraspara? Could this Paraspara referring to more than two? No. As far as Virodha goes, this Virodha is going to be happening only to two entities. Two rules, they must be in opposition, fighting for their application. In other words, the scope of every rule is rather uniquely defined. That, okay, this is my house, this is where I live. But sometimes, it so happens that some other person can also find the possibility of its application. So, Kashika says, that those two rules which have equal strength, Tulya Bala. So how do you define Tulya Balata? Tulya Balata
Equal scope of
is defined, everything as far as the rule goes is defined in view of its usage, utilization, its function, its application, all that. If you are a rule, you are great if you do something. If you don't do something, you are thrown out. Sometimes, in a context, two rules become applicable at the same time, concurrently. Those two rules can be called Tulyabala if and only if they have their separate scope of application elsewhere, in some other context. So, if two rules find their possibility of application in a single context, with the understanding that both of those have their own separate applications. They have their own houses elsewhere, but in this house they find claim. That is what Vipratisheda is. You have this conflict in your mind, which one to apply. In such a situation, Pāṇini says, apply the later. So, the word Vipratishedhe sati. And when you read it right after kadara, akadara, dhika sangya, that fools you to interpret a so this guy is talking about situation of conflict only in the context of eka sangya. In other words, Vipratishedhe param karyam doesn't have its scope beyond eka sangya. Big debate. Joshi goes one more step. Joshi says, there is no need. There is no need for Vipratishedhe param karyam. The general idea of samanya vishesha shesha can account for. In other words, the context of Vipratishedhe param karyam can be accounted for with the concept of apada. Treat that as an apada. Without respect to Joshi, I don't agree with that. The tradition says, no. The best example for the Vipratishedha and its application, without any problem anywhere, Dikshabhyam, Prakshabhyam, etc., the Bhashya discusses that. No comment of Prayata, any otherwise, and no negation. That's the cleanest example. It was in 2003 or 4 that I was invited by Kiparsky at Stanford to speak on a Pāṇini seminar which was being held, and Joshi was attending that. So he was, I didn't like him the way he put it, the invitation. He said that, oh, there will be fun, there will be debate, you come. So he said once, I didn't reply. Then he looked to me again, hey, you didn't reply, there will be fun, Joshi is coming, there will be a debate. So I just got angry. I said, what do you mean by there will be a debate? You are going to debate Joshi? You expect me to debate Joshi? Joshi doesn't need a debate. Joshi is an established acharya. He doesn't need debate. So I said, I'm not coming. I'm not coming to debate Joshi. If I come, I'll present my views, I will defend it. I will stand corrected if Joshi says something and I agree. Of course, I have to agree. So then he apologized. He said, no, please come. So I went. What was the topic? The paper that I read in 2003, that paper has just come out by the in the Sanskrit Studies 4 of Jawaharlal Nehru University. Just came out. I don't even have a copy right now. So that one was once again on Vipratishedha. Because earlier on I had written a piece on Vipratishedha for the Sanskrit Studies 1. When they started Sanskrit Studies, they asked me to do one paper. I was teaching there for 12 days at Jawaharlal Nehru University. So I wrote that I spoke on Vipratisheda, and then Shashi Prabha Kumar, she said that, why don't you just put that whole thing in a paper for me? I said, it's very difficult because I don't have my library or anything, So, but I did a small piece. So, the question is there a limitation on the Vipratisheda rule to apply? I disagree, because Pāṇini is formulating a rule with Vipratisheda. That doesn't mean it doesn't apply as well in the Ashtadhyayi. Simply because you have put it in Eksamjaya, that doesn't mean that Vipratisheda only comes in Eksamjaya. In fact, the situation of Vipratisheda, especially in the context of Sangya, there is no Sangya conflict.
So, but is there any reason to put it? We could have put just one sutra before.
Yeah, sure.
And you think of any reason?
No, you don't question him.
I mean, maybe there is some more.
No, there is a problem. He must look at it from the point of view of where else he could have put it. No, don't ask why did he put it there. Ask another way, where else he could have put it. So where else will bring more problems for accommodating that rule than answering the question, why did he put it there? I have done that for the Samasa section. Why did he put it there? Like Prakadara, Samasa, etc. So anyway, Tulya Bala Virodha,
So just you mentioned briefly that you said there is one perfect example for the Purva Pratisheda, and then you said something and I missed.
No, in Vipratisheda.
Pratisheda Parampa, you said there is one perfect example of one sutra.
Of Vipratisheda.
Yes.
That is in the.
But he said one
It's in the seventh book. Yeah, in connection with Vrikshabhyam, Plakshabhyam.
Vrikshabhyam.
Yeah, that's the example where Bhashya gives that. What is the word technically that the Pāṇinians use? Kanthataha. See, whatever an Acharya says, there has to be explicit statement for which the word kantha is used. Kanthataha. What Pandit Rama Nath Sharma used to explain to me. He would say, don't go there, वहाँ मत जाइए. क्यों नहीं जाइए? उनका हृदय वहाँ नहीं. So उनका हृदय वहाँ नहीं है, उनकी सोच वहाँ नहीं है. These are two different phrases. They use for two different things, and then the kantha. Kantha, mana, and hridaya. And they mean three different things. Anyway, Vipratisheda is a two-level virodha, and you can get that paper. You can get it from my laptop. Once again, I'm Vipratisheda. My laptop has everything I have written. So that comes very handy. There is this very archaic search system for things, but I survive. Mostly because I am very poor on naming the files. And files, that's a jungle. Anyway, so Vipratisheda is not limited to such an important concept where there is conflict in application of rules. There is conflict in application of rules of other types everywhere in the Ashtadhyayi. That is what they call rule interaction. What?
Bahuvachan Jhaliyat.
Yeah, and that's what the tradition has, rule interaction. What do I use? Oh, it's Badha Chinta. It's Badha Chinta. So blocking the application of one rule, blocking off application of one rule against the other. That's Badha Chinta. There is a section in my, which is a new section, that has not, all these things which you will find in the Pāṇini tradition of grammar and linguistics, they all have their source implicitly or explicitly in the Vyakarana Bhashya and my own thinking. So there is a section on Badha Chinta, rule interaction, blocking and derivation in Pāṇini that has also been published as a...
The Chattopadhyaya one.
What?
The Chattopadhyaya one.
Rule interaction is not there in Chattopadhyaya, but the Pāṇini tradition of grammar is the Chattopadhyaya volume. You can get it and there is no copyright restriction on that one. Because the Chattopadhyaya, all the papers which have been published by Chattopadhyaya volumes, they have released the copyright to me. And they say you can use it any way you want. So what I do, I just give it to the students if they want. I can. So long as it's electronic, I just send it to them. But it has also, I was invited to present a keynote address at the 4th Computational Linguistics Sanskrit seminar at Delhi, at JNU. I think it was in 2007, to present that keynote address. I did that, the Badha Chinta one, rule interaction, blocking and derivation in Pāṇini, which is refreshing. It's really very, how rules interact with each other and how the decision is made whether one should apply or the other. When you're talking about Vilpratishedha has only one type of conflict in the application of two rules. There are others. Sometimes Acharya thinks himself about this. Look at what he starts the Ashtadhyayi towards the end in the 8th book, 821. What is that? Purvatra Siddham. What does Purvatra Siddham do? Chops it into parts. Tripadi is one section, Sapadi Sautadhyaya is another section. There must be a very serious reason of citing. Look at He said, whatever you learn, you unlearn it now. Vivrita to samvrita. There must have been some very serious reason. So, don't ask just why. That's the West thing. You are Indian. You have somewhere some touch of the blood, which is in your tradition. Please don't. I'm not demeaning the Western scholars. As I said, it is a ring. I have lived there and I have heard all kinds of things about Pāṇini. And then you took 2 courses on Pāṇini and then you start saying, why did he do that? Professor Sharma, do you think why he shouldn't have done this? This kid is coming out, he doesn't even know ABC. And he is saying, Pāṇini, why did he do that? It's like me saying, my father said, simply because you are a dog, the whole world will become a dog. Uncut approve, and I said, Bhattaji is wrong. The third time I opened my mouth, he says, simply because you are a dog, everyone is a dog. Although, I told him, you prove me a dog, I will accept it. What was the defense? भाष्य विरोध है. Second, the Bhashya. I have written in the first volume, I don't accept Bhashya Virodha. There are only 11 examples in Sanskrit, and I can take care of all those examples with Sahasrudha. Why do I have to accept it? In compound, like Bhattoji says in the Sarva Samasa Sesha Prakaranam, that is a compound between Subanta and Dhatu. Simply because the Bhashya says, Kyuvanta Dhatu Tom na jahati. They don't abandon their status as a Dhatu. No, I will go and apply, since Quip is a Vedanta, I will say, Krishna Visavasasya will define it as an Pratipadika, and I will go to Sasupa and apply Subantam Subanterasa.